This leads me to the peak without no regret. You got no love without no love. You got no regret without no regret. You got no love. A melody where I belong in this life.
Hi again, everyone. Post 22 Baseball is on the air from Fitzgerald Stadium. It's the Black Hills Classic, sponsored by Superior Siding. And this morning, Rapid City Post 22 concludes play as they'll take on Colorado Springs. And the Colorado Springs team was just victorious as they defeated Cannon City by a score of 4-3. And for Colorado Springs, that was their third win in 4 games here in the Classic. Post 22 is unbeaten so far. They've won all 4 of their games. Post 22's now won 5 games in a row. They have a record of 26 wins and 3 losses. And Mark Benetti, the beat just kind of goes on to Post 22. It seems like whatever they need to do to win, they find a way to do it.
Absolutely, and last night it came down to clutch offense towards the end of the game. You saw Zach Solano come up with a big 3-run home run. Granted, Sioux Falls East ended up rallying back and tying the ball game, but then Justin Kramer, the very next inning, answers back with a bases-clearing double to give the Hardhats an eventual 9-7 lead and subsequently a 9-7 win over Sioux Falls East. So you're right, the beat keeps going on. It doesn't matter what the scenario is. This Hardhats team has seen adversity. They've come back, and they keep managing to put up W's.
So we said the 3-1 record for Colorado Springs so far in the 4 games. And as we look at Post 22, last night's win, a little bit of everything. They showed some good defense as they turned 3 double plays in the game last night. Some effective pitching at times, although it was inconsistent again. But the story of this team is hitting. When you're averaging just under 11 runs per game, and have a team batting average of 348, that is where this team is going to go right now. It's with the offense, and Mitch Messer, despite this 26-3 record, certainly wants to see a much greater improvement from the mound. And not necessarily talking about Kyle McGuire, who's pitched well, and Colton Sherbinski, who's pitched well, and Riley McSherry, who's pitched well, and Tommy Moore, who had a great relief job. He'll be getting the start today. Each of those pitchers have done well, but I know each of those pitchers can pitch better. And what Mitch Messer is looking at, too, is to elevate the other 5 or 6 names in the pitching staff right now to get more consistent and give him greater depth in the pitching, because this is the 4th day now, and we have 7 more consecutive days to go of baseball, starting with the road trip tomorrow. So, Mark, pitching depth will be very big here over the next week.
And over these next 11 days, it's what time? About 13, 14 games this team's playing, so it's a lot of baseball. Everybody needs to get on board, especially, like you said, with regards to pitching. I remember during the hockey seasons working for the Rapid City Rush, Coach Ferris would get into the locker room when he was still the head coach, and he would say, we can't have any passengers. We need 18 guys driving this bus a night on a lineup. That's exactly what you need here with respect to the pitching staff. You need everybody to buy into the pitching philosophy. You need to attack. You need to utilize what works best for you as a pitcher, and stop giving up free base runners, and stop hitting batters, and stop walking them. You've got to start finding a way to increase that strikeout to walk ratio on the strikeout side of the spectrum, and hope that things come together for a cohesive effort. Tommy Wall has been sensational. He's going to get the start tonight, like you said. It's only his second start of the season, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with the mindset of coming out for a start as opposed to a relief appearance, because in relief, like you said, he's pitched nothing but flat-out shutout baseball the whole season.
Last Sunday was his last outing. He pitched 4 1/3 innings against Premier West out of Denver. No hits or runs in that 4 1/3 innings. A couple of players are still nicked up for Post 22 that might prohibit them from, will prohibit them from playing today. Mitch Messer giving them the day off. One is Eric Petrie, who's still kind of struggling with a knee injury, but it is getting better, but that'll keep Eric out of the lineup today. And a reserve, Carter Deming, has had some shoulder issues and is having a little problem throwing the ball, so how much he'll be able to play in the foreseeable future is up in the air right now, too. So as you get into the season, of course, these things happen, and you just have to carry on. And as you said, Mark, you have to find 18 guys to board the bus, to ride the bus, and to depart the bus. And tomorrow we'll load the bus.
Yeah, we'll actually get on the bus. It doesn't come down to figure of speech at that point. We will actually get on a bus and drive all the way to Montana. Speaking of 18 guys, they're a part of the lineup. We'll go ahead and give you the starting lineups for today's matchup between Colorado Springs and your Post 22 Hardhats. Colorado Springs batting in the top halves of the 7th inning, and their lineup is as follows. Leading off is number 1, Seth Chambliss. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting second is number 88, Dyson Oquist. He's at second base. Batting third is number 3, Jacob Brummel. He's the shortstop. And in the cleanup spot for Colorado Springs is number 5, TJ English. He is the catcher. Batting fifth is number 27, Ben Padronos. He's the designated hitter. Batting sixth is number 10, Matt Haynes, playing at first base. Batting seventh is number 77, Josh White, patrolling center field. Batting eighth is number 13, Joe Savish. He's patrolling right field. And rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot is number 14, Josh Alejandro. He is patrolling left field. Chance Oquist, number 20, is on the mound for Colorado Springs. He'll take on the Hardhats lineup as they follow in the bottom halves of our 7 innings. Leading off is number 11, Walker Paz. He's at second base. Batting second is number 12, Connor King. He's been promoted high up into the order. He's patrolling center field. Batting third, number 22, Cooper Bowman at shortstop. And in the cleanup spot is number 28, Zach Sumption. He's the left fielder. Batting fifth is number 17, Todd Stevens. He is the catcher. Batting sixth is number 30, Jack Sorensen. He's the designated hitter today for the Hardhats. Batting seventh is number 20, Will Moore, playing at first base. Batting eighth is number 26, Holden Jackson, patrolling right field. And rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot for the Hardhats is number 18, Dylan Ritchie. He will get the nod in the hot corner at third base. Tommy Wall on the mound for the Hardhats. Again, just his second start of the season, but it's his 11th appearance of the year. 19 innings even of work under his belt. A team-leading ratio of 23 strikeouts to 6 walks and a 1.47 ERA. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Tommy Wall can do in this start. Again, it's not a relief appearance, so the mindset's a little different. We know Tommy can throw quality innings of work, and he can go quite a long distance in the games as well. Folks, we're going to have the performance of the United States National Anthem. We'll be back for first pitch, the final game of the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic, featuring Colorado Springs and your Post 22 Hardhats. You're listening to the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Post 22 extends a big thank you to Superior Siding for sponsoring this Black Hills Classic. It's been quite a classic over 4 days, hosted by Post 22 here at Fitzgerald Stadium and also by Rapid City Post 320 at Pete Lean Field. And I'll tell you, Post 320 has been very impressive in this classic with the way they've played and the scores in which they've won by. Superior Siding is your local window, gutter, and siding experts. They're located at 4240 Canyon Lake Drive in Rapid City. If you're thinking about replacing your windows, maybe your gutters, or maybe you just want to add siding to your home, call Superior Siding because they'll offer you a free quote and guide you through the process. So a big thank you to Superior Siding here in Rapid City. Talking about Post 320, they have beaten Albuquerque 10-0. They beat Upper Deck 13-2. They beat Sioux Falls East 15-0. Last night they beat Cannon City 10-3. So They have probably been the most impressive scores-wise in the tournament from any team. They're unbeaten in 4 games. Tonight, post 3:20, actually this afternoon over at Peteline Field, they'll play Sioux Falls East to wrap up their play in the Classic.
Hardhats come together at the infield on the mound to pump Hardhats together. Tommy Wall set for his second start of the season, his 11th appearance of the year. 19 innings of work, 23 strikeouts to 6 walks, a 1.47 ERA. He's paired up with his catcher Todd Stevens on defense. At first is Will Moore, second Walker Paz. At shortstop, Cooper Bowman. In the hot corner at third, it's Dylan Ritchie. Left to right in the outfield for post 22, Zach Sumption, Connor King, and Holden Jackson. So a different look to the lineup today. Coach Master trying to get some work in for some individuals that don't always make the starting lineup.
And a chance to give, as we said, a couple of players a day off going into this long road trip. So Seth Chambliss, the third baseman, a right-handed batter, takes a pitch up over his head from Tommy Wall, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. So we are underway this morning at 11:37. And our game time temperature is, as the pitch is a ball outside, 69 degrees. That was exactly our temperature at the start of the game last night. 2-0 pitch. Checks his swing, and it is high, and it's ball 3. Well, Tommy was so impressive against Premier West last Sunday. Here's his 3-0 pitch, and that's a fastball right over for a strike, and it's 3-1.
Earlier I was talking about mentality and focus. He's coming out for a start, not a relief appearance.
And strike 2 at the knees, so he's come back now to 3 balls and 2 strikes on Chambliss.
But if there's one thing that doesn't faze Tommy, it's the situation and it's his mentality. He's always zeroed in, always focused.
Foul off to the right, out of play, and the count runs along at 3 balls and 2 strikes. One of the stats I like about Tommy Wall, again, I always like to look at what are teams batting against the pitcher. And Tommy Wall's opponents are hitting only .211 against him this season. Here's the payoff pitch. Strike 3 at the knees. Chambliss was headed down towards first base, but Tommy Wall climbs the mountain from 3-0 and records a strikeout to start the game.
And there's that focus, there's that mentality. You're behind 3-0. Other pitchers, normally, they're walking a batter. And Tommy comes right back. Strike 1, strike 2, foul pitch called strike 3, and it's a backwards K as opposed to a base on balls.
Here's Dyson O'Quist, the second baseman, and he takes a fastball inside for ball 1. He's a right-handed batter. 1 ball, no strikes, and Wall's pitch. Strike on the low outside corner. We mentioned Colorado Springs 3-1 here in the Classic. Their only loss was to Sioux Falls East, 17-7. 1-1 pitch, low and outside, 2-1. They have a win over Albuquerque 9-3. They beat Upper Deck 10-5 and just beat Kansas City 4-3. 2-1 on O'Quist. Here's the pitch. Strike on the outside corner, and the count all even at 2-2. Dyson wears a number you don't see all that often in baseball, if at all, number 88. Pitch low and away, and Tommy has run the count full for the second straight hitter now, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I was making hockey references earlier. 88, the good old Eric Lindros used to play for the Philadelphia Flyers, and Josh White wears 77. I think A1 Ray Bork wore that number.
Payoff pitch. Missed outside, so Wall ends up walking O'Quist. And that'll bring up Jacob Brummel, the shortstop.
Now batting shortstop, number 3, Jacob Brummel.
Brummel, a right-handed hitter, so Moore will hold with O'Quist at first base. Moore works out of the stretch. He delivers. Swung out a foul, back and out of play, 1 strike.
It's the first time that Tommy Wall's been ahead in the count. Granted, it's only been 3 batters, but good to see him start off with the first pitch strike there.
Here's the stretch by Wall and the pitch. Swung on and chopped foul at the plate, and the count is 0-2. In their 4 games, Colorado Springs has scored a total of 30 runs, and they have allowed 28. No balls and 2 strikes as the sun tries to peek through here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Very nice afternoon to watch a game. Pitches high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Brummel. One ball, 2 strikes. O'Quist off at first. And Wall throws over there. Outfield playing straight away. Here's Tommy Wall looking into catcher Stevens for the sign, and the right-hander delivers. High and inside off the mid of Stevens, and the ball goes to the backstop, and a wild pitch allows O'Quist to go to second base. Pitch high and inside, and Stevens had to jump up to try to grab it. 2-2 the count now. Here's the set and the pitch. Swing and a miss, a pitch up. Brummel went after it, so Wall has his second strikeout of the inning. 2 down, it brings up T.J. English, the catcher.
Now batting the catcher, number 54, T.J. English.
English, a right-handed batter. 2 outs, and Colorado Springs with a runner at second here in the top half of the first inning. We're just underway. Wall delivers, and a breaking ball over for a strike. No balls and a strike. And the pitch. Swing and a foul back. No balls and 2 strikes now on English. Both Sioux Falls schools play at Peatline Field today to wrap up the classic for them. Sioux Falls West plays at 2 against 320. Sioux Falls East at 11:30. They're underway over there against Upper Deck. Ground ball foul towards the Rapid City dugout. And the count still 2 strikes.
That was a nice snag from whoever that was in the dugout. Barehanded. That was a great snag. Wow.
Well, if anybody would make a great snag, I would have bet on Cooper Bowman, but it couldn't be him. He's out on the field right now. 2 strikes to count. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a fly ball to left. Sumption coming in a couple of steps under it out there, and Zach has it to retire the side. No runs for Colorado Springs in the top of the first inning. No hits, no Rapid City errors. 1 man left on base. From the Anytime Auto Sales press box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball. As we go to the bottom half of the first, there's no score here on ESPN Radio Rapid City.
Some folks say it doesn't matter how you get the job done, as long as it gets done. To us, however, we won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance.
Last half of the first inning as we prepare for the big road trip, which starts tomorrow. We'll be in Bozeman, Montana tomorrow night to take on the Bucks, and that game will begin at 7 p.m. here on Hardhat TV and on ESPN Radio Rapid City. Tuesday night, we'll be in Hamilton to play Bitterroot at 7 p.m., and then it's on to Pullman, Washington the home of Washington State University. We'll be playing a couple of games on their field while we're there. We'll play Crew at 9 p.m. Rapid City time on Wednesday. Rock Creek at 4 p.m. Rapid City time on Thursday. Toyota at 2 p.m. Friday. And then on Saturday, we'll play Washington at 4 p.m. And Sunday's game will be determined by how we do those first 4 days. But this is a 7-day trip. And Mark Benetti and Destin Heumann are already packing. Destin's got a suitcase the size made for an elephant.
Oh, he's going to need it for this trip.
Hope you can join us for those games on our road trip. Tomorrow night again, we'll be on the air shortly before 7 for our game against Bozeman. Walker Paz leading off against the right-hander for Colorado Springs, and Walker hits a foul down the right field line. Chance O'Quist. There's 2 O'Quists in the lineup. Chance, the starting pitcher, and Dyson, the second baseman. Walker's hitting .385. He has a home run and 17 RBIs. The one-strike pitch is a breaking ball down low in the dirt, and it's 1-1. Walker with 8 doubles on the season. Here's the pitch on the way. It's swung on, drilled to deep right field. Back goes Sabish, and he doesn't get the ball. It's off the fence, right down the foul line to the left of the 330 sign. And it's a stand-up double for Walker Paz. Walker's 9th two-base hit of the season. So that'll bring up Connor King, the center fielder. Moved up to the number 2 spot in the order this afternoon. He's hitting .250. 2 home runs, 19 RBIs for Connor, a left-handed batter. 3 doubles on the year also. So a good start as Post 22 has a leadoff double here from Walker Paz. Here's the set by O'Quist. And the pitch. Off-speed pitch is outside for ball 1.
One of those home runs for Connor came yesterday, a nice solo blast over the right field wall against Sioux Falls East, and that came at a very crucial point to tie the game early when it ended up being a seesaw affair.
Here's the set by O'Quist and his pitch, and it's a strike at the letters. 1 ball, 1 strike. White, the center fielder, has played these 2 left-handed batters. He's shaded over towards right center field again, which means there's a pretty good sized gap in the alley in left center. Connor swings and lifts a fly ball into shallow center. Second baseman out on the outfield grass behind the second base bag, and he grabs it for the first out. So Quist grabs the pop-up off the bat of King in shallow center. 1 down, here's Cooper Bowman. Cooper at .449 on the season and leading the team in average. 3 home runs and 34 RBIs. Here's the set by O'Quist and his pitch, and a breaking ball outside and low, ball 1. Bowman's had 17 extra base hits on the season, which is the most of any Post 22 player. He's got 10 doubles, 4 triples, and 3 home runs. Takes another breaking ball down low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. So he's hit with power, and he's also a threat on the base paths. 18 out of 18 in stolen bases for Cooper. And he's committed just 3 errors in 29 games. He's actually played in 26 of them. Here's the pitch. Strike on the outside edge, so I don't know what else you could do to help the team this year than this guy has done. Walker Paz, the runner at second. No score here in the bottom of the first. The pitch to Bowman. Slow breaking ball inside. Throw to third, and Paz is safe. Got a good jump. Three and 1 now on Cooper. And Walker at third base with 1 out.
That's a 7th stolen base on the year. He is such a threat on the base path and very intelligent, too. He knows when to pick his spots to battle and go for an extra bag.
Here's the set and the pitch. Swung on, lined out into right field. Sabish will make the catch. Tagging up his Paz. He's coming to the plate to score, and it's a sacrifice fly for Bowman. Cooper hit it hard. He lined it out into right field, but Sabish had to only go back a step or so to make the catch. And Cooper gets his 35th RBI of the season, and that puts him second, 2 behind Zach Solano, who's not in the lineup today. Here's Zach Sumption hitting cleanup, and Zach right behind Cooper with a .444 batting average. Swings and misses a high, slow breaking ball. Zach has 4 doubles, 4 triples, a home run, and 17 RBIs, but his power has really only come in the last couple of weeks. His first couple of weeks up at the varsity, he did not have an extra base hit. Pitch is blown away, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And even to that point, Tom, think of how many times he hit a hard fly ball that just retired him. It was caught by a center fielder or a left fielder. He really can hit for power. He just hasn't been rewarded for it up until now.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's a fastball high, 2-1. Post 22 has scored here in the last half of the first inning. They've grabbed a 1-0 lead against Colorado Springs. Here's the right-hander O'Quist and his pitch. Low and outside. Count goes to 3-1. And the pitch. Breaking ball bends in for a strike. Again, that slow breaking ball, and it's a full count. If Zach gets on here, Todd Stevens, the catcher, would hit. And the payoff pitch. Breaking ball struck him out. Another off-speed breaking pitch. And Sumption is down. A strikeout for O'Quist. A run for post 22 on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. 1 inning complete here at Fitzgerald Stadium. The Hardhats 1, Colorado Springs 0. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
One nothing post 22 after the first inning. Clark Kramer on the public address system this afternoon just reminded me to wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. It's always a great day for Dad, and I certainly remember my dad very fondly. I, as we all feel, couldn't believe I could have a finer dad than I have, and I know you feel the same way, Mark. And there's a long foul down the left field line by Ben Padramos, the designated hitter. Padramos, the right-handed batter.
Well, if there's anybody that's been a bigger supporter of what I've been able to accomplish in my broadcasting career, it's been my father, especially my mother too. But no doubt my father's played a very integral part in that.
Pitch is low and outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. I can remember my dad taking me to my very first professional game, 1966. The Twins beat the White Sox at Metropolitan Stadium. Harmon Killebrew hit 2 home runs. I was forever an idol of Harmon Killebrew's. The throw to first base on a third to first bouncer for Ben Padramos. And Richie throws out the designated hitter. 1 down. Can you remember your first Major League game you ever watched?
Actually, you're going to hate me for this, but yes, it was at the old Yankee Stadium, Yankees versus the Twins, and Bernie Williams hit a walk-off home run to dead center field to give the Yankees a 6-5 win.
Isn't that funny how we remember that? Twins win over the White Sox in '66 was 8-3 as the pitch comes in for a strike. And I can even remember that Smokey Burgess, an all-time great pinch hitter for the White Sox, flied out to Andy Costco on the warning track to end the game. We just remember those things as kids, your first game. There's a swing and a miss by Haynes, the first baseman. The count is 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the saying is you always remember the first time you do something. So, yeah, I mean, it's such an integral moment for you.
Kind of like your first kiss.
Absolutely.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on for Colorado Springs here on the top of the second. Post 22 leading 1-0. Tommy Wall into the windup. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and fouled off to the right.
I'd be interested to actually hear what your first hockey game was, because I know you and I have had some big hockey talks.
Man, that was just great. Met Center, home of the North Stars. Tommy Wall with a 1-2 pitch coming up here to Haynes. The pitch on the way, swung on, chopped towards third. Ritchie fields this one and then fumbles the ball. And Haynes is on. It'll be an error on Dylan Ritchie. I'm not sure whether Dylan just took his eyes off that ball for a moment or was concerned about getting the throw off to first base. It wasn't a hard hit ball. The batter will be Josh White. And the pitch is swung on, hit down the right field line. It's a long run for Jackson, and he won't get to it, but it's a foul ball. Few feet foul down towards the right field corner. Vancouver Canucks, by the way, was the game, and Cesar Maniago was the starting goaltender for the North Stars, somebody Hugh should have an affinity for, being an Italian.
Now, were the Canucks wearing those god-awful V-neck uniforms at the time?
No, this was back in the 70s. Their original logo, they had an odd green and blue combination with the hockey stick in the rink that was on the front of their jersey. It looked like a C. There's a strike on the outside corner to White, and it's 0-2. Haynes at first base. He reached on an error here with 1 out. That gives Post 22 33 errors on the season, which ties them with their double play total. Low and outside, the runner's going to go to second. A wild pitch again down in the dirt for Wall. One thing I was going to ask you moments ago is, what do you think the odds are in this game that we will not see a hit batsman?
I'm hoping we don't, because it would be the first time in a while that we haven't seen that.
You think it's a 10% chance or a 20% chance that we don't see one?
Right now, I'm looking at a 10%.
White with a 1-2 pitch, and he takes it low, blocked again by Stevens. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joe Sabish, the right fielder, on deck for Colorado Springs. Various Colorado Springs teams have been here over the years. Not all the same team. Here's the 2-2 pitch, swung on, a ground ball hit to the right side, out to second base. Paz fields it and flips to Moore for the out. Haynes goes to third on the play, and there are 2 away. And that brings up Joe Sabish, the right fielder, who is hitting in the number 8 spot.
Going back to the hockey talk, my first hockey game, I can never forget this. Rangers and the Devils at Madison Square Garden, and Mike Richter shut out Martin Brodeur. I will never forget that. Messier, of course, scored twice, which, no surprise then.
Fastball in tight to Sabish for ball 1. You remember, did you go with your dad on that game?
I went with my dad and my 2 brothers, and it was so cool because we were in his company's skybox suite.
Pitch is down in the dirt, blocked by Stevens. So like anything, for most of us, it seems like our dads were the instigators to get us to going into anything. My dad was a great Twins fan and Vikings fan, and that's what got me interested in sports. 2-0 pitch. Too high, and Tommy falls behind Sabish 3-0.
You talk about dads and sports moments. My first sports moment ever, and we don't have time. We'll probably have to do it in between innings, but my goodness, that was a funny one.
Pitch is high, ball 4. So Sabish walks. That's the second walk given up by Wall. And the hitter will be Josh Alejandro, the left fielder. Runners at the corners now and 2 out. Well, Tommy's given up a couple of walks here early in the game. It's kind of unusual for him, and now Stevens is going to go out in front of the plate and go through all those defensive signals. I can recognize that one is if the ball is hit, field it. That's the best signal you can give.
As the great Pepper said in Dodgeball, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out for him.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a roller foul in back of home plate. 1 strike on Alejandro. 1-0 post 22 leads here in the top half of the second. Crowd's picked up a little bit, but still rather on the light side. Sure, families had a lot of things planned today if you're not a baseball dad. No balls and a strike. Here's the pitch on the way. It's swung out, a slow roller hit towards second base. Here comes Paz into field. It flips to Moore for the out. A grass cutter out to second baseman Walker Paz, who makes the putout. 4-3. No runs, no hits, 1 Rapid City error, and 2 men left on base for Colorado Springs. We head to the bottom of the second. Post 22 leading 1-0. And you're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box and on ESPN Radio Rapid City. One nothing post 22 leading here in the bottom of the second. 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Hardhats here against Chance O'Quist, who gave up a run on a hit in the first inning. Cooper Bowman sacrifice fly, scoring Walker Paz from third base. I was looking at the forecast, Mark, for our road trip this week. You couldn't ask for a better forecast the entire week. Sunny with high temperatures from 75 to 80.
Wow.
And then the beauty of going through the Rocky Mountains. I was telling Cooper Bowman before the game, I've got to have my camera ready because this is going to be a lot of snapshots on this trip. Areas I've never seen before, going through the Rocky Mountains in Montana. Here is Todd Stevens, the catcher, up, and he bluffs a bunt, takes that slow breaking pitch, but it's high for a ball. Todd has what I call the Mark Benetti average, 588. 1 home run and 9 RBIs.
I don't know how you got access to my T-ball stats from way back in the early 90s, but hats off to you because that's what I hit in T-ball.
Of course, I did place you 12th on the team.
I did, yes. Not every day you see somebody with an over 500 average and he's the bottom rung.
Todd hasn't had that many at-bats, but when he's had his opportunities, he's really done well. He's 10 for 17. Takes a pitch on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. And out of his 10 hits, he's got 4 doubles and a home run. His slugging percentage is 1,000. There's a pitch inside. It nicked him, so down to first base goes Stevens. So there's our hit batsman mark, and our 10% chance goes by the boards.
Well, luckily, it was not from a post-22 pitcher. So in my eyes, that 10% is still in play. But if you were talking earlier when we did discuss this overall, then yes, it has gone by the wayside, unfortunately.
Here's Jack Sorensen hitting .367. 2 Grand Slam home runs on the year, 27 RBIs. He has 4 doubles. Stevens off at first and turning but not throwing to first base was O'Quist. Not a balk. His foot was not on the rubber. You can always straddle that rubber and make a gesture towards first without throwing the ball. There's a little pop up towards third in foul territory. Chambliss grabs it for the out. Got that ball in on the fist, and Sorensen fouls out to Chambliss at third base. So there's the first out here in the last half of the second inning. Will Moore up, the first baseman. Post 22 with a 1-0 lead here. Will hitting .258. Moore has 8 hits in 31 at-bats. And out of his 8 hits, he has 3 doubles and 2 triples. He's knocked in 3 runs. Right-handed batter. Hitting 7th in the order today. Here's the set by O'Quist. Runner goes. The pitch is low and inside. To throw to second base, not nearly in time. It's a stolen base for Stevens. And for post 22, their 75th stolen base of the season. This is their 30th game. So if you take 75 stolen bases divided by 30, you're looking at 2.5 stolen bases a game. The funny thing, they've allowed their opponents only 13. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Slow breaking ball misses outside. And it's 2-0 on Will Moore. So Stevens in scoring position now with 1 out.
And something to point out, catchers aren't always a stealing threat. He doesn't have a courtesy runner out there, so good on Todd. He's getting it done by himself.
Well, I know with Deming's shoulder bothering him, they didn't want to use him to pinch run. As the pitch hits the outside corner, Carter had been pinch running the last couple of games as the courtesy runner in this tournament, only for catchers. 2-1 on Will Moore. Outfield is straight away. Here's the set. And no throw to second base. Interesting, with Colorado Springs holding a 3-1 record in the Classic and post 22 4-0. If Colorado Springs would win this game, both teams would finish 4-1, but Colorado Springs would actually edge post 22 because of the win over Rapid City. Here's the pitch. Big breaking ball. That drops in for a strike. That took about a minute to arrive to the plate, and it had a lot of spin on it, and it's one in there for a strike for a 2-2 count.
I'll tell you, that's what's been working for O'Quist in this game. He's gone pretty much to his breaking pitch, and got to give him credit because he's locating it well.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Will Moore. Stevens leads from second. Fastball is high. English, the catcher, came up. He was thinking that Stevens might have taken off for third base. So it's a full count on Will Moore with 1 out and post 22 leading 1-0 here in the last of the second. Todd Stevens leading from second base. Right-hander Chance O'Quist out of the stretch. And he'll fake a throw to second again. The shortstop, Brummel, had come over to get Stevens back close to second base. Moore steps out. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the set. O'Quist delivers. Breaking ball swung on. A fly ball into right field. Sabish is coming in. He's in shallow right field and makes the catch. And there's the second out of the inning. 2 down. Stevens still at second base, and that'll bring up Holden Jackson, the right fielder. Holden, again, hasn't had a lot of at-bats on the season. He's hitting .231. 3 hits and 13 at-bats. 1 triple and 5 RBIs. So Jackson will try to come up with a 2-out hit here to drive in Stevens. And a pickoff play at second. Hits the base runner right in the helmet and deflects into shallow left center field. Here comes Stevens to the plate. The throw is not going to be in time. Stevens scores from second base on the most needless error we've seen in the tournament. A soft toss. He just threw the ball for the sake of throwing it to second base. Stevens was actually standing on the bag. The shortstop was there. But the throw hit Stevens right on the top of the helmet and deflected into left center field.
Have you ever seen that before?
No.
That is ridiculous.
An error on the pitcher, and the pitch is a strike to Holden Jackson, 0-1. 2-0 now, Rapid City. I'll tell you, Mark, this is our 30th game of the season, and I'm beginning to wonder if this isn't kind of a Twilight Zone season. A pop-up on the right side. The first baseman is over near the screen, has room, and he drops the ball, and the ball pops into the dugout, and he falls into the dugout. Haynes, the first baseman over there, and he may have fallen into the dugout. He did. He should have had teammates there ready to catch him if he fell down, but he appears to be all right. This is a strange season so far.
My goodness, I have never seen anything like this before. Well, that was just insane. You get the pickoff off the bucket, scores a run from second. You get a gentleman trying to make a good play on the foul ball, falls into his own dugout. Wow. Tom, I think you might be onto something here.
This makes me worry about this road trip coming up.
Submitted for your approval.
Holden Jackson with an 0-2 count. 2 out, nobody on. A run in for Rapid City. They lead 2-0, and Holden hits a fly ball down the left field line. Alejandro's going into foul territory near the screen, and he can't get to it, and the count runs along at 2 strikes. Well, O'Quist isn't fooling anybody. I mean, he's not blowing the ball by people by any means, but he's, for the most part, been able to locate the pitch fairly well. He's left a few pitches out over the plate, but Post 22 hasn't taken advantage. Breaking ball line to third, caught right off the top of the dirt by third baseman Chambliss. Home plate umpire ruling it a catch. His glove was just almost on the dirt when he caught that low liner off the bat of Holden Jackson. 1 run on no hits for Post 22. There was one costly Colorado Springs error and nobody left on base. At the end of 2, Post 22 2, Colorado Springs nothing. You're listening to Hardhat Baseball on ESPN Radio Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Tommy Wall with a couple of shutout innings so far. You know, Tommy allowed no hits in 4 1/3 innings last Sunday. He's allowed no hits through 2 innings today, so he's got a streak of 6 1/3 innings of hitless ball.
It spells well for Tommy because think about it like this, Tom. If he could come out in this start, put together another quality string of innings like he did in his last appearance, but do it starting off a game, what kind of a weapon is that for your pitching staff? If you need a start out of him, you can get it to save an arm. If you need him to come in a key moment out of the bullpen, he can do it too. And goes back to his mental focus and his just willingness to compete in a high-pressure situation. You can't coach that.
Here's a foul ball by Chambliss, the leadoff hitter, the third baseman for Colorado Springs, 1 strike. You know, Tommy was telling me before the game that on this road trip, you know, he's not quite sure how he's used because he's probably the first man out of the bullpen a lot of times, and depending on how the starting pitching does this week may dictate whether he sees a start or is worked in relief in this road trip. So he's got to be ready either way. Pitch is down low for a ball, and it's 1-1. Chambliss called out on strikes in the first inning. And Wall's pitch, low and inside. 2 balls and a strike, 2-0. The Hardhats lead here in the top of the third inning.
And you know what? That speaks so highly of Tommy as a baseball player. He's prepared no matter what. Again, you can't coach that.
There's a bouncer foul off to the left, and that evens the count off at 2-2.
You know, you can preach it all you want as a coach. You can preach it all you want as a mentor, but it's up to the player at the end of the day to take that by the horns and run with that mentality. And hats off to Tommy. That's all we've seen from him ever since he put on a post-22 uniform last year.
Outfield playing shallow. Here's the 2-2 pitch and a pop-up off to the right of home plate. Stevens didn't pick it up right away, but the ball lands into the second row of seats behind the dugout off to the right. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Another great thing about Tommy, too, off the field, he's such a great human being as well. And I hope that he sticks with baseball because he really has a knack for this sport, a great passion, and a dedication to it as well.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Right in there. A fastball, strike 3 called. Chambliss called out for the second time. 1 out here in the third inning.
That's 3 Ks for Tommy in this start, too. He is rolling. He's pitching some great baseball right now.
Dyson O'Quist, the second baseman, up. He drew a walk in the first inning. And the right-hander Wall's pitch is swung on and missed. 1 strike. Pitch away. Tommy's walked 2 now in the first 2 1/3 innings. 3 strikeouts. And the pitch is a ball, and it's 1-1. And the pitch. Fastball over, a strike, and it's 1-2. Tommy's been doing a pretty good job of mixing his pitches here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stevens sets up outside. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. He hit the mitt. Pitch down and away. And the 4th strikeout for Tommy Wall. 2 down, and it brings up Jacob Brummel, the shortstop.
Tell you what, Tom, yes, he's mixing his pitches very well, but his fastball is dialed in this start. He's almost every strikeout he's recorded, he's gone to the fastball, and it's been the out pitch.
Brummel struck out swinging his first at bat. Swing and a miss. A pitch belt high and away, and it's 1 strike. Now this Colorado Springs team, 30 runs scored in their first 4 games, 7.5 per game. And Wall is shutting them out here as the pitch misses low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brummel, the number 3 hitter. Slightly open stance as Wall delivers, and a swing and a foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He opens up as the pitch comes in. He kind of squares up to the pitcher. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. And he pokes a foul back to the screen. Reach for that pitch away. You know, with all the players today in the Major League Draft, I see the Twins sign their number 1 pick in all of baseball, of course. Their shortstop out of California. $6.75 million signing bonus for a high school kid. Swing and a miss. A fastball up and away. And Brummel strikes out. Fanning the side is Tommy Wall. He's got 5 strikeouts. Looking very, very good in his hitless streak now. 7 1/3 innings. We go to the bottom of the third. Post 22 will send up third baseman Dylan Ritchie to start things off. At the end of 2 1/2, the Hardhats 2, Colorado Springs nothing. From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, Try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Post 22, 2, Colorado Springs, nothing. The Hardhats come to bat here in the last half of the third inning. Royce Lewis was the number 1 overall draft pick, signing with the Twins yesterday for $6.75 million. And you think about that, and we'll see players throughout the season that will be drafted. I haven't been able to look at the whole draft list yet of players that were drafted. There's how many rounds?
50, I think, in baseball.
Yeah, and so you'll get a lot of players drafted, between rounds 30 and 50 that we have probably seen over the course of the year. But to think you started the season in high school, playing high school baseball, and by the time your high school season is over, you've made $6.75 million. You're going to begin your pro career. I don't think he has a problem getting a date on a Saturday night.
Why couldn't we do that, Tom? Why couldn't we just be stellar baseball players in our teenage years and make millions right off the bat?
Well,
what were we thinking?
That's my contract to broadcast the games with Post 22, 6.75. What's yours? Isn't yours that high?
Apparently, I need to get your agent.
Dylan Ritchie takes a ball low and outside. The next pitch is a fastball inside, and it's 2-0. Ritchie has had 5 at-bats with the varsity. No hits. He does have an RBI. Dylan pitched yesterday, and that was in the game against Sioux Falls East last night. Pitches outside a ball, and the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes, and he picked up the win in relief, you might recall, last night.
2 innings pitched. He allowed 3 runs, all earned on 5 hits, a strikeout to a walk, but he did hit 2 batters, though.
He was the victim of a dropped fly ball out in the outfield. And there's a strike, and it's 3-1 on Ritchie. Coaches are high on him. Whether he'll go on the Washington trip, I guess, remains to be seen. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's low and outside. He walks. So that'll bring up Walker Paz, the second baseman. I'm not sure how many players Mitch has in the dugout for this game. There might be 19. And he can take 19 on the road. There, you can take any number you want during the regular season. Postseason play, you're limited to an 18-man roster. Walker Paz doubled to right his first at bat. Scored a run. And the throw to first, Ritchie is back. O'Quist has given up just the 1 hit. In fact, we've only had 1 hit in the game. That was Paz's double in the first inning. Pitch to Walker. He bunts it towards third. Good bunt. Up with it is Chambliss. Here's his throw to first base. Just in time. Nice play by the third baseman for Colorado Springs, Seth Chambliss, coming in to field that bunt. Paz will get credit for a sacrifice. But that was a very nice defensive play by Chambliss at third base. Walker's got some speed, and Chambliss couldn't hesitate on anything. He had to field it and get the throw away quickly. So Ritchie's at second now with 1 out. Here's Connor King, the center fielder. Connor popped out to second his first at bat. Chance O'Quist delivers. There's that big breaking ball in for a strike. I'd like to get the gun on that and see how fast that is.
I'd have to guess maybe 60 if he's lucky, Tom. And that's what I think is throwing a lot of these post-22 hitters for a loop. Pun completely intended on the breaking pitch.
It's not even the speed limit on the interstate. Here's the pitch. Swung on, lined into the right field corner. It is a foul ball. A couple of feet foul for Connor King down in the right field corner. And the count now is no balls and 2 strikes.
Now there's the adjustment I've been dying to see from these post-22 pitchers on that off-speed pitch. They're starting to sit on it and wait on it. That's exactly what Connor did. Absolutely torched the ball, and I think if it was 6 inches the other way, Dylan Ritchie scoring and Connor King standing on second, switching places with him.
2 strikes. Ritchie off of second. The pitch is high and outside, a fastball, and it's 1-2. Cooper Bowman on deck. Gap in left center field again for King. Here's the set. O'Quist delivers. And it's low for a ball. 2-2 the count. Two balls and two strikes. And a breaking ball high and outside. It's 3-2. Three balls, two strikes on Connor King with one out here in the last half of the third inning. Hardhats leading 2-0 over Colorado Springs. Richie off of second. There's a ball hit into left center field, and that is going to be in for a hit. It skips past the center fielder White, who tried for a shoestring catch. Richie has scored. King to third with a triple. And there was an instance where that shift really burned Colorado Springs. If White is playing a normal center field and not shading towards right center, he probably makes that catch. But a triple for Connor is his first triple of the year, his 20th RBI, and it's 3-0 Rapid City.
Tom, you and I saw the exact same thing last night. And again, if I'm left field against a left-handed batter, why am I so close to the foul line? It's insane. And Sioux Falls East has done it. Now Colorado Springs has done it. Both times it cost them.
Here's Cooper Bowman now with a runner at third. And a curve is high and inside. You know, if you got a pitcher out there that's throwing a lot of heat, that throws a good fastball with the left-handed batters, I can see that. They're going to be late on the swing. You shade him towards the line. But O'Quist is not a pitcher, a power pitcher by any means. So they're going to be able to hit the ball. Should be able to pull it on him. Pitch is low outside a ball, but even there, King hit the ball into left center field, and he gets the triple. So Connor had a home run last night. He's got a triple today. Pitch on the way, and Cooper, a good cut, fouls the pitch back to the screen, and it's 2-1.
Keep in mind, too, Tom, that's only the second hit of the ball game between both of these teams, and both of them are for extra bases.
Bowman with a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. King down the line at third. And the pitch, low and outside. And the count 3-1 now on Cooper. Hit a sacrifice fly. Drove in his 35th run of the year in the first inning. Mitch Messer again coaching at first for Post 22 today. Nick Ewing at third. Pitching coach Jason Hers in the dugout. 3 balls and 1 strike. Pitch on the way. There's that breaking ball high. Cooper with a walk down to first base. King is over at third, and Zach Sumption coming up. And it's only the third inning, but in my eyes, it looks like O'Quist is starting to tire. How many pitches is he throwing, Mark?
Oh, this first one to Zach Sumption will be number 49, so he's on pace with Tommy. Tommy's thrown 56 just about.
Well, that's not as many as I would have guessed he had thrown.
Yeah, he had 17 in the first inning and 14 in the second.
There's a breaking ball for a strike. Runner going to second, and Bowman is safe. The second baseman cut the ball off in front of the bag. King was edging down the line at third, waiting to an opportunity maybe to try to score on a double steal, but there were runners at second and third, 1 out, and Sumption, who struck out in the first inning, has a 1-strike count. Infield is back, and there's a ball outside, 1-1.
Cooper Bowman now with 19 stolen bases on the season. Yikes.
Here's the set. Pitch to Sumption, breaking ball outside. Time is called now by English. He's going to run the ball back out to his pitcher, Chance O'Quist. Superior Siding sponsoring this Black Hills Classic. A big Post 22 thank you to Superior Siding in Rapid City, your local window, gutter, and siding experts. They're located at 4240 Canyon Lake Drive. They offer free quotes. Give them a call at Superior Siding. 2-1 the count on Sumption. The pitch is a breaking ball, hangs inside, and it's ball 3. O'Quist kind of slaps at the ball as he gets it back from his catcher, English. Todd Stevens is on deck. 3-0, Post 22 leading here in the last of the third. A chance really to open up a good lead. Here's the pitch. Swung on, driven to right field. Sabish is back, looking up, and that ball is off the fence, rolling back towards the infield. King has scored. Bowman is scoring, and Sumption ends up at third base with a triple. Sumption drove that ball to right field for his 5th triple of the season now, which leads the team. 2 more RBIs for Zach give him 19, and it's a 5-0 post 22 lead.
Well, how interesting is this? Both triples that we've seen have been opposite field triples. Zach Sumption, the right-handed batter, pushing it into right field. Connor King pushing it to that massive gap in left center. I'm liking the opposite field power right now from post 22.
And a big curveball is high from O'Quist. Todd Stevens was hit by a pitch his first at bat and scored. So it's Sumption at third with 1 out. O'Quist delivers, and that breaking ball hits the outside corner, and it's 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Outfield playing straight away now as the fastball comes up and in for a ball. It's 2-1. Five runs for post 22. They've had 3 hits in the game. There's a hard ground ball, and it's off the glove of the third baseman and trickles into left field. Sumption scores, and Stevens is on.
Be interesting to see what they rule here, Tom, because that was a hard hit ball. However, it was a fieldable ball, and it looks like they're going to rule that an error, another E5.
And no RBI, as Sumption would not have tried to score had the ball been fielded cleanly. So here's Jack Sorensen, who fouled out to third his first at bat. 6-0 now, post 22 with the lead. Second error of the game for Colorado Springs.
I'm sorry, that's their first E5 of the ballgame. The other error was on the pitcher for the throw.
Here's the pitch, and it's outside at the letters. 1 ball, no strikes. Jack, number 6 hitter in today's lineup. Right-handed batting designated hitter. He's played first base during the season also and has had some pitching duties.
I think at one point, too, he may have even seen a couple of shifts at left field there.
I think he did early in the season, yep. 1 ball and no strikes. O'Quist delivers. Breaking ball swung on and missed. I got to remember to ask Mitch Messer after the game or tomorrow on our travels what he thinks this breaking ball velocity is. Here's the set by O'Quist, his pitch. Blown outside, the runner goes to second on the delayed steal. Stevens goes in head first. He didn't really need to slide because there was no throw on the play. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Maybe he just likes playing in dirt. I don't know.
He likes that dirty uniform that his mother will have to wash. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball outside. 3 balls and a strike.
But as we established yesterday, if you're Cooper Bowman, you wash your own in between games.
Yes, Cooper. Nobody touches Cooper's uniforms but Cooper. 3 balls and 1 strike on Sorensen. Leading from second is Stevens here with 1 out. And there's that fake pickoff play at second with nobody covering the bag.
That's your favorite.
Sorensen with a count of 3 balls and 1 strike. 6-0. The Hardhats leading here. Last half of the third inning. The pitch on the way, and it is a ball low, and Sorensen walks. Here comes the coach for Colorado Springs. Out from the first base dugout. And the conversation goes on at the top of the mound. Our next broadcast tomorrow night. We'll be in Bozeman, Montana, and our broadcast will begin about 6:45. The first pitch at 7 p.m. tomorrow night from Bozeman on ESPN Radio here and also on Hardhat TV. You can watch it on post22baseball.com. Long conversation going on at the mound, and as usual, as soon as the umpire hits the mound, the conversation breaks up. Will Moore flied to right field his first at bat. Will is up now with runners at first and second and one out. 6-0. Post 22 here in the last half of the third inning. Here's the set. And they throw to second base, and if that wasn't the oddest looking pickoff move I've ever seen, the throw to second was actually made sidearm by the pitcher. Stevens should have just stood at second and let the ball hit his helmet again.
Well, the throw was high enough, it could have.
Here's that big breaking ball, and it's ruled a ball high, and it's 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Chance O'Quist delivers, and there's a fly ball into left center field. It's fairly deep. White's catching up with it out there in medium deep left center field. He makes the catch. Stevens tags and goes from second to third, and there are two outs. Holding at first base is Sorensen. And that'll bring up Holden Jackson, the ninth man to hit here in the third inning. Holden, eighth in the order, hit a low liner, which Chambliss, the third baseman, speared right off the top of the dirt to end the second inning. 4 runs in for post 22 here in the third inning. And they now have a 6-0 lead over Colorado Springs, going after their 6th win in a row. Here's the set and the pitch. Holden pokes a foul off to the right.
Please return that ball to the ticket booth for $1. Sponsored by Hot Breakfast, served daily at Holiday Express Island.
Leading from third, Stevens. Leading from first, Sorensen with 2 out. 1 strike on Holden Jackson. O'Quist, the right-hander, sets and throws. And a breaking ball high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 1 the count. They bluff Sorensen back to first base. You know, it's really going to be great this week in the tournament in Pullman, Washington. But then when we come back, we get right into the firecracker. So the next 2 weeks are going to be great baseball. There goes the runner to second. The pitch is a ball. The throw to second, not in time. Now the runner's coming home, and the throw is not in time. In to score is Stevens with his head first slide. And again, a little bit of a misplay there by Colorado Springs.
Well, a number of things happened on that sequence. For starters, Jack Sorensen got another delayed steal, and we talked about the delayed jump last night. He gets to second. The shortstop is indecisive on whether or not he wants to throw home, so that gives Stevens his jump, and then his throw is short, and that allows the run to score to make it 7-0.
A good, strong throw probably would have had Stevens at the plate. There's a bouncing ball to third behind the bag. Chambliss fields it. The long throw across the first, skips into the first baseman's mitt, but he came off the bag, and Jackson is safe at first. Runners at the corners. Poor O'Quist can't seem to do anything to get that third out. So Dylan Ritchie coming up. They've given a base hit to Jackson on the play, and the pitch is a strike to Holden. He walked to start this inning off. Third hit of the inning for post 22, their 4th hit in the game. They lead 7-0 now. Pitch to Ritchie. Swung on, hit through the hole to left field for a base hit. In the score comes Sorensen. Holden Jackson racing to third. He's safe. The ball gets away, rolls towards the dugout. Going to second on the throw was Ritchie. So he'll get a single and an RBI as Sorensen scores. Runners at second and third as Ritchie takes the extra base and the throw to third. Here's Walker Paz up. Walker is doubled to right. Had a sacrifice bunt. 8-0, post 22 leading. Runners at second and third with 2 out. Here's the pitch, and it's high to Walker for ball 1. One ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses inside, 2-0. Walker has such a good eye, too, at the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on, line to right field. Savish is there and makes the catch. Paz with a sharp line drive to right, but right at Savish, who made the grab. 6 runs, though, score in the inning for post 22. And they now lead by a score of 8-0. 4 hits in the inning. And post 22 leaves a couple of men on base. There was also an error in the inning. So we go to the 4th inning. Mark Benetti has been warming up that voice down in the bullpen. If you've heard that humming in the background, that was Mark warming up for the top of the 4th inning. Post 22 leads by a score of 8-0. And you're listening to Hard Hat Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots, he scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
All set now for the top half of the 4th inning here at the Fitz, the final day of the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic. Post 22 Hard Hats take back to their respective defensive positions as Colorado Springs now comes up to bat with 4, 5, and 6 in the order scheduled to hit. TJ English, Ben Padronos, and Matt Haynes. Tommy Wall back on the mound for the Hard Hats. He has pitched some incredible baseball, 5 strikeouts to 2 walks, and has not allowed a hit now in 7 1/3 innings of work in his last 2 appearances. Numbers across the board for Colorado Springs: no runs, no hits, 2 errors on defense, and for the Hard Hats, it's 8 runs on 5 hits with 1 error. Mark Benetti alongside you for all the action this afternoon as Tommy Wall's first pitch is swung on and popped high in the air to shallow left. Cooper Bowman comes from shortstop, and he makes the catch to retire TJ English on just 1 pitch. 1 up, 1 down on the pop 6 will bring us to the designated hitter, Ben Padronos. So English now 0 for 2, a fly out to left and a pop out to short. Padronos, the DH, comes up with 1 out, no one on the base path here in the top of the 4th. 0 for 1 with a ground out to third. His first pitch just missed. Low and away, and that's ball 1. 1-0 the count to Padronos. Tommy Wall is on fire, 5 strikeouts in this start. Next pitch is swung on, hit right past him at the mound. Bowman comes, bare hand, throw to first in time! What a defensive play by Cooper Bowman. The ball trickled right by Tommy Wall on the mound. Bowman charges in, bare hand throw to first. 6-3 in the book. 2 down brings up Matt Haynes. Oh my goodness. Call up SportsCenter. That was insane. And now that is going to bring us to Matt Haynes, who reached on an error in his first at-bat. So he's 0 for 1. 2 down here in the top of the 4th. The base path is empty, and the first pitch from Wall is swung on and missed. And he starts behind 0-1. Tommy Wall now has retired 6 consecutive batters in 7 of his last 8. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed again. Strike 2. Haynes tried to reach across for that pitch. No balls, 2 strikes to count. But Tommy Wall looking for back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. And if the next pitch is a strike, it'll be a 6th K of the start. Wall agrees on a sign with his catcher, Stevens. Here comes the 0-2. Swung on, and that ball is drilled into left field. It's got some distance, and it's going to land fair and go all the way to the corner. Sumption comes in to field it, and he throws into his relay to Cooper Bowman. So it's a 2-out double for Matt Haynes. And unfortunately, the no-hitter for Tommy Wall comes to an end after 3 2/3 innings of work. So now that's going to bring up Josh White, the center fielder. White on the game is 0 for 1. 2 outs. He has a man in scoring position. First pitch from Wall is fouled. No balls and a strike to count. Unfortunate to see the no-hitter come to an end, and the no-hit streak ends at 8 innings for Tommy Wall in his last 2 appearances. 0-1. Pitch missed low through the legs of Stevens. He has trouble locating it, and taking advantage of third is Matt Haynes on the pass ball. So a ball and a strike now, the count here to White. And that puts Haynes 90 feet away from putting Colorado Springs on the board. 8-0, the Hardhats have the lead. They're looking to preserve that advantage. 2 outs and a man on third here in the top of the 4th. 1-1 from Wall. Swung on and missed on a breaking pitch. Ball and 2 strikes to count. I have to tell you, if there's one thing that's been on point with Tommy Wall all game, it's been his pitch selection. And he is just dialed in to a whole new level today. 1-2 from Wall. Swung on, and it's weakly hit right back to Wall, and a check swing throw to first is in time. That's going to end it. So Colorado Springs' best chance to knock a run across is all for naught as they strand that runner 90 feet away from home. No runs on the first hit of the ballgame for Colorado Springs. No errors charged to the Hardhats. 1 man left on the base path in scoring position. Exactly half the ballgame has been played, so we are at halftime, if you will. 3.5 innings out of 7 in regulation, and the Hardhats still have their 8-0 lead intact. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 4th. Connor King, Cooper Bowman, Zach Sumption due up barring any offensive substitutions. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks, here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball, here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Some folks say it doesn't matter how you get the job done, as long as it gets done. To us, however, we won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
More than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
Well, the day of Chance O'Quist has come to an end as he will no longer pitch for Colorado Springs. He gave up 8 runs on 5 hits and 3 innings of work. He only struck out 1 against the Hardhats. Managed to hit 1 batter and walked 3. So now he gives way to Michael Grinnell, who comes out onto the mound for Colorado Springs. And as far as we can see, there are no other defensive substitutions to point out. So Grinnell comes out on the mound. He is a tall righty, and he will face 2, 3, and 4 in the Hardhats batting order: Connor King, Cooper Bowman, and Zach Sumption. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning here at the Fitz, the final day of the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic. Through 3.5 innings, halftime, if you will, of the ball game, the Hardhats have an 8-0 lead. It's 8 runs, 5 hits, and an error for Post 22. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors for Colorado Springs. So now here comes Grinnell. And his first pitch to King misses for ball 1. Connor King in the ball game, 1 for 2. Most recently, an RBI triple under his belt. Also came around to score in that sequence. 1-0 from Grinnell. Swung on, and that ball is fouled to the right of our press box into the stands, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Cooper Bowman on deck. Still 0 for 0 technically. A walk and a sac fly RBI. Zach Sumption in the hole. 1 for 2. Also a triple under his belt. 2 RBIs on that hit. And a strikeout. 1-1 here to King. High fastball away, and the count goes to 2-1. Tommy Wall in the top half of this inning gave up his first hit in 8 innings of work in his last 2 games. His no-hitter ending at 3 2/3 innings. 2-1. Swung on, and that ball is pulled to right field. It's got some distance on it, and it is off the wall. Connor King rounds first. He is on his way to second. Back-to-back at-bats for the Hardhats center fielder. He has extra base hits, a triple, now to go with a double. And the leadoff man for the Hardhats is in scoring position to bring up the red-hot Cooper Bowman. Bowman last night was in rare form. A pair of singles, an RBI, a run scored. He has a stolen base in this game, a sac fly RBI, and a walk. So he starts off with a man in scoring position for his 3rd trip to the batter's box. First pitch from Grinnell. Low and away, ball 1. Tried to go with that slider, and the count starts off 1-0 for Bowman. Hardhats have an 8-0 lead here on the final day of the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic. A perfect 4-0 record against Colorado Springs with a 3-1 record in this tournament. Here's the 1-0 from Grinnell. Low and away, missed the zone on a fastball, 2-0. So Connor King now on second. Back-to-back extra base hits. The RBI triple in the bottom of the 3rd. Leads off the bottom of the 4th with a double. For Cooper Bowman now across from him. Bowman looking to switch places, give the Hardhats a 9-rip lead. Here's the 2-0. Fastball again, low and away, 3-0 the count. Grinnell not really attacking Bowman with anything inside or anything that Bowman can put in play. He has skirted low and away on all 3 pitches, 2 fastballs and a slider. Here's the 3-0. That rides upstairs for ball 4. So it's a 4-pitch walk for Bowman. That will put the first 2 men on the base path now. First and second with Zach Sumption coming up, and he is fresh off of a 2-run RBI triple. And an opportunity to give the Hardhats an even bigger lead if 8-0 wasn't big enough already. Sumption playing in left field for Post 22 today. Seems that he has found a home there. His hitting has won him an opportunity to stay in the lineup on an everyday basis, and his defense in left field has been superb as well. First pitch to Sumption. Breaking ball. Called strike at his knees. 0-1 the count. Zach Sumption, the 2nd best hitter in the ball club statistically, a .444 batting average coming into the ball game. 2 men on the base path. Here's his 0-1. Misses low and away. But Josh White, the catcher, gets the block, so nobody takes advantage of a base, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. With runners in scoring position, Sumption's hitting .368. He has Connor King across from him on second in the scoring position. 10 pitches now for Grinnell in relief, has yet to record an out. Connor King goes, pitch is swung on, and that is drilled high in the air to left. It has legs, it has distance, and it is gone. It's a 3-run blast for Zach Sumption, and it's being protested by Colorado Springs, and I think our umpires are going to come together and confer. Colorado Springs thought the ball went foul. Assumption, in the meantime, has touched them all, but the Hardhats are anxiously awaiting a ruling from the umpires. And they're calling it a home run. So Zach Assumption has a 3-run blast under his belt. And the Hardhats now have an 11-0 lead over Colorado Springs, still no one out here in the bottom of the fourth. So the protest, unfortunately, does not come to the decision Colorado Springs wanted. Instead, their deficit is even larger.
That's one of those situations, too, Mark, that you ask, how would the home plate umpire go to the base umpire out behind the mound to judge whether a fly ball is foul or fair when the home plate umpire is looking right down the line? And there is no way he could reverse that.
Absolutely right. Call on the field stands. So here comes Todd Stevens. His first pitch is hit right back to Grinnell on the mound. The throw to first in time, and he's retired 1-3. One down now for the Hardhats after the 3-run blast by Assumption. That's going to bring up Jack Sorensen, the DH. But that is a great point. Why defer? You have the best vantage point. You can make the call.
And I don't know whether I heard right or not, but it seemed like the umpire said it hit the foul pole. And I'm not sure whether that's what he said, but he said something concerning the foul pole. You could hear him yell it.
First pitch to Sorensen, low in the dirt for ball 1. 1-0 the count. And normally I would agree with that, but I didn't hear any tink, if you will, off the pole. So, again, he had the better view because we're being blocked by a stanchion of lights from the foul pole, so it's hard for us to see that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether it was fair or foul.
Next pitch is low for ball 2, so 2-0 now to Sorensen.
You said it went tink off the foul pole?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the hockey terminology for when the puck goes off a post. Sorensen hits one to third. Stops made by Chambliss, and his throw to first is in the dirt and wide. And Sorensen's going to take off for second. The catcher, White, catches up to it. However, he's not going to have a throw to second. So it's an E5, the second one of the ball game for Colorado Springs, and the third error as a ball club. And Jack Sorensen is going to advance to second base on the throwing error. So another miscue for Colorado Springs, and that's going to bring us to the first baseman, Will Moore. Will 0 for 2 with a pair of flyouts, one to right and one to center. Looking for his first hit of the ball game with another man in scoring position for Post 22. Post 22's registered a run in every inning, 1-1, 6-3 now up to this bottom half of the fourth. First pitch to Moore. Breaking pitch high, ball 1. Holden Jackson is on deck, 1 for 2, fresh off of an infield single. One to 0 the count. Sorensen takes his lead off second, and the 1-0 is swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to left center field. Josh White, the catcher, is underneath it, and he makes the catch. So, 2 down now. And that will bring us to Holden Jackson. So Jackson 1 for 2. He singled the last time he was up. He has Sorensen now advancing to third on the flyout. And the first pitch to Jackson misses for ball 1. As the score stands, this is quite possibly the last time the Hardhats could see the sticks. If they get 3 outs in the top half of the 5th inning, the ball game will end. 1-0. Swing and a miss. And Jackson's count evens up to a ball and a strike. And that would be because of the 10-run rule being invoked. 11-0's the Hardhats lead. A 3-run blast from Zach Assumption has put them in this current position. Here's a 1-1. Swung on, Jackson chases it, and it's foul. 1-2 now the count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Jackson has a man 90 feet to his left to try and knock in. That's Jack Sorensen, who reached the base path on an E5, and it allowed him to take an extra bag to go to second. 11-0, the Hardhats have the lead. The 1-2 from Grinnell on the mound is high and inside, and Jackson will see another pitch with his count evening up at 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two from Grinnell. Swung on and just fouled. And Holden Jackson stays alive, count even to deuces. Should Jackson keep the inning going, Dylan Ritchie, the 9-hole hitter, is on deck, fresh off of an RBI single. Also had a walk and came around to score once. Stat line for the inning currently reads 3 runs on 2 hits with an error. And a man on third. 2-2 to Jackson. That ball swung on and hit high in the air to left field. That ball has some legs. That ball has some distance. And making the catch at the warning track from center is Josh White. And that is going to end the bottom half of the fourth. 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error charged to Colorado Springs. 1 man left on the base path. That was Jack Sorensen, 90 feet away from home for post 22. And at the end of 4 full innings of play, the Hardhats, even further in the driver's seat, have an 11-0 lead and are 3 outs away from ending this ball game early. We go to the top half of the 5th, and a new arm is on the mound for post 22. We'll let you know all about it in just a few moments. The top half of the 5th coming up. From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRAS IPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Well, it looks like Coach Messer has changed up his pitcher. Zach Sumption will now come in from left field and take over for Tommy Wall, who was just simply sensational. 4 innings pitched of 1 hit shutout ball, 5 strikeouts to 2 walks, and Tommy did it all on 66 pitches. And unfortunately saw his streak of 8 innings of hitless ball come to an end in that top half of the 4th inning.
Colorado Springs coach is having had a lengthy discussion behind the plate with the home plate umpire about that home run call.
And first pitch from Zach Sumption is low and away for ball 1 to Joe Sabish, the right fielder. And I believe Jack Sorensen has now taken over in left field. Next pitch is swung on and it's hit right to Walker Paz at second for the out. So an L4 starts off the top half of the 5th. 1 up, 1 down. That's going to bring up Josh Alejandro, the left fielder in Colorado Springs. Now down to their final 2 outs because of that 10-run rule. Hardhats with an 11-0 lead. This is the 4th time this season that Sumption's come in to pitch, and he deals the first pitch ball to Alejandro. It was 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. 3 1/3 innings of work under his belt, 1 strikeout, no walks, a hit batsman, and a 2.1 ERA as his next pitch. A fastball rides high for ball 2. All of these appearances, by the way, for Sumption have come in relief. This, again, is 4th one. 2-0. Misses low and away, 3 balls, no strikes. No runs, a hit, 3 errors for Colorado Springs. For the Hardhats, 11 runs, 7 hits, and 1 blemish on defense. 3-0, rides upstairs, ball 4. So Zach Sumption walks Josh Alejandro, and that's going to bring us back to the top of Colorado's order to Seth Chambliss, the third baseman. Chambliss 0 for 2, a pair of backwards Ks on his stat line. So 11-0 is the Hardhats lead. First pitch from Sumption swung on, and it's hit in the gap between first and second and into right field for a base hit. Jackson comes into field, gets the throw to second, and Cooper Bowman's there to snag it. So after the line out to Walker Paz at second, Sumption followed up with a base on balls and then surrenders a single to Seth Chambliss. Men on first and second now for Dyson Oquist, the second baseman, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Sumption steps off the rubber, takes some time to think. Men on first and second, 1 out. Double play ball still in effect to end the game. First pitch. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into left, and it goes over to Jack Sorensen. He can't make the catch. He gets the relay into Bowman, and everybody's going to advance an extra base. So now it's bases loaded with 1 out. Sumption in quite a jam here, and that's going to bring up Jacob Brummel, the shortstop. And they're going to rule that an E7 on Jack Sorensen. Alejandro to third, Chambliss to second, Oquist to first.
Jack hasn't played a lot in left field, and you can see he was a little unsure when that ball left the bat. And you think about Zach Sumption, that would have been pretty easy for Zach.
First pitch from Sumption is low, but Stevens got a decent block to it, so nobody takes advantage of home plate. 1-0 the count here to Brummel, who was 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks in the book. The second and fifth of Tommy Wall. Bases are loaded. Sumption deals the pitch. Inside and high. 2 balls, no strikes to Brummel.
One thing about Jack, he's done so well at first base this year. Since the first game, we've seen him improve defensively so much. And I think you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he played a couple of games early in the season out in the outfield.
2-0 is swung on and ripped up the middle, and Bowman can't make the catch. It's going to drop for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. Throw to third from Kings, not there in time. So it's a 1-out RBI single for Jacob Brummel. And Colorado Springs is on the board. The Hardhats lead is now 11-1. And if you're the Hardhats defense, get the double play ball and get out of this one. Otherwise, you're coming up to bat in the bottom half of the fifth should you surrender another run.
You know, I had a fan question I told you before the game, Mark. A fan asked me to find out if we could look up how many games have ended on a double play that Post 22 has turned this year. And you thought you could remember a couple of games.
First pitch is low and away, but no one takes advantage of home. Stevens gets back to the ball quick enough, and the bases remain loaded. That's a big miscue for Colorado Springs base runners. And it's a 1-0 count to TJ English, the catcher. The bases remain loaded, and it is still a 10-run deficit. Here's the 1-0. High and away. 2 balls, no strikes now from Sumption.
I want to make a point. You know, we talk so much about hitting, pitching, and fielding. But I'll tell you another area of the game where Post 22 is so far ahead of their opponents, and that's base running. This team runs the bases better by far than any team we've played this year.
Very few mistakes, and every now and then you'll catch a gaff. 3-0 from Sumption is high and inside, ball 4. And it's an RBI base on balls. And this game will keep going. Now the Hardhats lead is at 11-2. So the Hardhats cannot end the game on a double play. They do have to come back to the sticks in the bottom half of the fifth. So now here comes Ben Padrinos, the DH, and his first pitch is hit high in the air to the infield, and Walker passes underneath it. Infield fly rule was invoked regardless, so Padrinos is retired. So 2 down, bases are still loaded, and that will now bring us to Matt Haynes, the first baseman. Hardhats with an 11-2 lead here in the top of the fifth, and they will have to bat once again. They came into this inning with an 11-0 lead. First pitch is low and away, ball 1. Haynes in the ballgame, 1 for 2 with a double, the first hit of what are now 3 for Colorado Springs in the ballgame. He also reached on an error. 1 ball, no strikes the count from Sumption. Bases around him are occupied, and the 1-0 is fouled. 1-1 now the count to Haynes. It's English on first, the RBI base on balls. Brummel on second. He reached the base path with an RBI single. And then Dyson Oquist reached the base path on an E7 to Sorensen out in left field. 1-1 from Sumption. Swung on, and that ball is drilled high in the air to right. Holden Jackson is underneath it, and he makes the catch. That is going to end the top half of the fifth. Well, the Hardhats could have ended the ball game early. However, they will come back to the sticks. For Colorado Springs, it's 2 runs on the power of 2 hits. 1 error charged to post 22, and the bases were left loaded. So, the Hardhats lead is now 11-2. They'll transition from defense to offense. And the Hardhats will see 9-1 and 2 due up in the batting order, starting off with Dylan Ritchie, barring any substitutions. We'll be right back in just a few moments with the bottom half of the fifth. Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 19...
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots, he scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Hardhats could have gotten out of the game early. However, Zach Sumption in relief surrendered 2 runs on the mound. An RBI base on balls, an RBI single, and now that brings us to the bottom half of the fifth, where the Hardhats can still walk off. All they need is 1 run. They can walk off with the win and still end it early. But all they needed was 3 outs on defense. Now they're going to need 1 run on offense. Easier said than done. Dylan Ritchie leads off the bottom half of the fifth, and his first pitch from Michael Grinnell on the mound is low for ball 1. Numbers across the board through 4.5. For the Hardhats in the driver's seat, it's 11 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors. And for Colorado Springs, 2 runs, 3 hits, and 3 blemishes on defense. 1-0 from Grinnell in his second inning of relief is ripped foul. First base side and out of play, and the count will even up at 1-1 for Ritchie. Ritchie on the ball game, 1 for 1 for the Hardhats. An RBI single and a walk came around to score last time he was up. 1 ball, 1 strike is count. And Grinnell from the stretch deals, low and away. 2 balls and a strike. Walker paused, the second baseman on deck, back to the top of the order, and then Connor King in the hole. King back-to-back extra base hits in this contest. 2-1 to Ritchie. Swung on, and that ball's pushed high in the air to right field. Charging it is Joe Savish, and he can't make the catch as he slides to the foul line. Ritchie turns around first, and he heads to second with a sliding double to lead off the bottom half of the fifth. So the game-winning run is in scoring position. And that is now going to bring us back to the top of the order, and Walker Paz is tasked with knocking him in to end this ball game. 11-2 is the Hardhats lead. 1 run, and they can end this game by invoking the 10-run rule. And that game-winning run is currently in scoring position. Paz on the ball game. 1 for 2, a double, a sacrifice bunt, a run scored, and a stolen base. And he looks at a first pitch high for ball 1. Last time he was up, he flew out to right field. One 1-0 is the count to the Hardhats second baseman Walker Paz. Lefty against the right-handed throwing Mike Grinnell, and the 1-0 is low. 2 balls, no strikes. Connor King on deck again. He is ripped off back-to-back extra base hits, an RBI triple and a double. He's 2 for 3 in the ballgame. 2 balls, no strikes to count here to Walker Paz. Man on second, no one out, bottom of the fifth, and the next pitch is swung on, and that's ripped into right field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Ritchie comes to third, but he's going to get the stop sign. So the Hardhats need an extra man to come around and try and knock in Ritchie for the win. So it's a no-out single for Walker Paz. He advances Ritchie to 90 feet away from ending the ball game, and that's now going to bring up Connor King.
Now batting the center fielder, number 12, Connor King.
So Connor King is red hot right now. After popping out to second base, an RBI triple came around to score, then a double came around to score. Those were in the third and fourth innings, respectively. The infield is in. They're trying to keep this game going. So all 4 infield positions are on the grass. Walker goes. It'll be a defensive indifference. They're just going to let him take it. So it's now men in scoring position, second and third. The most important of those 2 base runners now is Dylan Ritchie. This whole time he's been 90 feet away from home plate. Connor King has yet to see a pitch. The infield's still in. First pitch. Called strike at his belt. 0-1 the count to King. This is the second time that he has faced Grinnell on the mound. No balls and a strike to the Hardhats center fielder. The 0-1 to King is inside. The count evens up at 1-1. Walker Paz on second. Dylan Ritchie is on third. Ritchie the more important of the 2 base runners. Nobody's out here in the bottom of the 5th. The Hardhats with an 11-2 lead. Connor King can knock in Ritchie. The ball game ends. 0-1. Off-speed pitch up high. 2 balls and a strike now to King. If necessary, Cooper Bowman's on deck. Back-to-back walks and a sac fly RBI for the Hardhat shortstop. He's also come around to score twice, and he has his 19th stolen base of the season registered in this ballgame. 2-1 to King. Swung on and fouled to the net. And the count evens up at deuces. $11 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Hardhats. 2 runs, 3 hits, 3 errors for Colorado Springs. Connor King hits any ball out of the infield. Ball game will come to an end. Men on second and third, nobody out. He has a 2-2 count. And Grinnell deals the 2. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to right center field, and it looks like it will be caught on the play by the center fielder, Josh White. Tagging up from third to come home is Dylan Ritchie. He touches home plate, and that's going to end the ball game. A walk-off RBI sac fly from Connor King gives the Hardhats a 12-2 win and a 5-0 finish in the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic. Solid baseball played from the Hardhats in the final game of the tournament for them. Undefeated with a 12-2 win under their belts. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors charged to Colorado Springs, and the 1 man left on the base path in scoring position was Walker Paz. We're going to take a quick recess, folks. When we come back, Tom and I will break down some numbers, give you our parting thoughts, and we'll set up the table for the road trip that we have. Pee-wee's Great Adventure through Montana and Washington State. Should be a fun time this upcoming week. We'll be right back in just a few moments. You're listening from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box to ESPN Radio Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this.
Post 22 has won their 6th game in a row as they start a new winning streak after last Sunday's 2-0 loss to Premier West in the first game of a doubleheader. They won the second game last Sunday. Now they ran off 5 in a row here in the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. So 6 wins in a row for Post 22 and now 27-3 on the season for the Hardhats, who scored a run in the first inning. A sacrifice fly from Cooper Bowman scored Walker Paz to make it 1-0. They scored in the second inning on a throwing error, allowing Todd Stevens to score to make it 2-0. Broke the game open when they scored 6 runs on 4 hits in the third inning, highlighted by a run-scoring triple from Connor King, a 2-run triple from Zach Sumption in that inning. They scored 3 runs in the fourth inning, and Zach Sumption hit a 3-run homer just fair down the left field line, his second home run of the year. Zach had 5 RBIs this afternoon, and then the winning run scoring in the bottom of the fifth inning to win the game on the 10-run rule, and Connor King sacrificed fly and second RBI of the game. 12 runs for Post 22 in the game. They had 7 hits, committed 2 errors, and stranded 4. And for Colorado Springs, who finish 3-2 in the Classic, 2 runs, 3 hits, 3 errors, and they stranded 7. Starting and winning pitcher Tommy Wall for Post 22, and Tommy pitched great baseball again. He threw 4 shutout innings, allowing only 1 hit, and now over his last 2 appearances dating back to last Sunday, 8 1/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, and no runs. Zach Sumption pitched the 5th inning, gave up a couple of runs. You know, Mark, I was going to have you maybe look this up too while we wrap things up here. If you could go back and see in the last few games, Post 22 scored in every inning today. I think they scored in every inning but one last night. And then I couldn't remember the game before that.
Also, all but 1 they scored.
And then the game before that.
All but 3.
So take that game out. Just the last 3 games then they've played and only not scored in 2 of the innings that they have hit in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So they're really chipping away. It's not like they have had some big innings, but they've scored in every inning.
Well, in this game, they had that 6-run bottom half of the third. Yesterday against Sioux Falls East was a little normalized. Across the board, innings 1 through 6 when they got to bat, it was 1-1, 2-3-2. And then against Albuquerque, it was 1-4-3-0-2. So, yeah, absolutely. They are chipping away, and it's looking really good. I mean, they're playing with some outstanding offense right now, and it's not the super gigantic inning like you said. They got that one today, which really helped them to a 10-run rule win. But I mean, that's just consistent offense, and I'd rather see consistently 1 run scored here, 2 run, maybe even 3 here, as opposed to 7 in 1 inning and then straight zeros and then another 8. I'd rather see the small numbers because that means that every inning they're making some kind of an offensive impact and somebody is keeping a consistent performance going.
So as we say, the beat goes on, and tomorrow we'll try to continue the winning streak as we head off to our road trip, which should be a lot of fun. It should be a very beautiful, scenic trip for us to take as we head to Bozeman, Montana tomorrow to play at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, both on Hardhat TV and ESPN Radio here. Then it's Hamilton, Montana on Tuesday night. We play Bitterroot there at 7 o'clock. And then Wednesday, we're in Pullman, Washington for the next 5 days, the home of Washington State University in western Washington State. We'll play Crew on Wednesday night. That game will start at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, as we'll be in the Pacific Time Zone. Thursday, we'll play Rock Creek at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, Rapid City Time. Toyota on Friday at 2 p.m. start, Mountain Time. And Saturday afternoon, a 4 o'clock start against Washington. And then Sunday's game will be determined by how we do those first 4 days. And again, I'm excited because I think we're going to see some tougher teams, and I think the team needs to do that. And then when we get through with this 7-day trip, it's home for the Firecracker, and we know how exciting that's going to be. So, Mark, the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a lot of baseball, a lot of good baseball, a lot of fun baseball.
Looking forward to the trip. I'm also looking forward to the Firecracker. That has to be one of my favorite tournaments, maybe next to the Gopher Classic that we have as a team or that we go to and travel to. Very much looking forward to that Firecracker, particularly with a certain Eden Prairie, Minnesota team coming into town. You know that's going to be a hostile environment. You know it's going to be quite the firework-laden baseball game. So should be interesting to see how all of this plays up to that Firecracker, but very much looking forward to what we're going to see in Washington State.
Eden Prairie's got a great program. They're great coaches, great guys, and the interesting thing, too, is after the Firecracker, we go on to the Gopher Classic up in the cities. And our host site is Eden Prairie, so that'll be fun. We want to give a big Post 22 thank you out to Superior Siding for sponsoring this Black Hills Classic, both here at Fitzgerald Stadium and Pete Lean Field, hosted by Rapid City Post 320, who's had a great tournament. They're 4-0 playing their game this afternoon against West. Superior Siding is your local window, gutter, and siding experts. If you have any improvements you want to make in your home concerning windows, gutters, and siding, call them at Superior Siding. They're the experts. They're located at 4240 Canyon Lake Drive. They offer free quotes, Superior Siding, here in Rapid City. Well, I'm about half packed for the trip so far.
I haven't done any packing at all. I've really dropped the ball, so I'm going to get it done tonight. A lot of laundry to sift through, so should be a fun evening for me, I'll tell you that.
Well, call Cooper Bowman. I hear he's good at laundry.
I might just have to do that.
Well, thank you, Mark. It's been fun, and we look forward to the trip. Destin's going to get ready to go. He looks a little tired today, but he'll be ready tomorrow. And we look forward to it. Again, tomorrow night, our broadcast about 6:45 from Bozeman and 7 o'clock first pitch. Great, Mark. Thank you.
Not a problem, Tom. Good afternoon. Happy Father's Day to everybody tuning in, and for everybody that was here at the ball game, we'll see you tomorrow night on ESPN Radio Rapid City at 6:45 Mountain Time as we take on the Bozeman Bucks. For my partner, Tom Rudabush, and our director of Hardhats TV, Destin Human, Mark Benetti saying so long, good afternoon, and happy Father's Day.